There are over 1.3 million H-1B visa workers in the United States right now, but the approvals for H-1B visa workers in 2025 are way down. In today's video, we're gonna cover why they're down and what that means for guys like you and me. And make sure you hit subscribe because I'm bringing you a fresh video 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. So here's the story, guys. Approvals are way down for H-1B visa workers in 2025. And if you're not familiar with an H-1B visa worker, well, that's someone that is overseas, wants to work in the United States, and gets approved for sort of temporary work visa in the United States. And this has been really effective for big firms like IT companies, Google, Microsoft, anyone in tech really. You're able to find labor offshore that might be able to fill out certain gaps in your workforce. Now, one of the big complaints or knocks on the program is that it's been abused, and it's being used as a way to replace American workers like you and me. Or if you're global, maybe it provides an opportunity for you, which mazel tov. Anyway, the top 7 Indian IT firms this year reported some huge changes in the approvals of their employees and team members. So these numbers are staggering, guys, staggering. So the top 7 Indian IT service firms recorded only 4,500 new H-1B visas approved in 2025. To be exact, 4,573 new H-1B visas approved in 2025. That's down 70% from 2015. And it's down 37% from 2024. I mean, guys, this is a huge shift in the way that the US workforce looks, especially for tech companies. And by the way, this is only for India. This doesn't include all the other countries, including China, that are filing for H-1B visas. And now get this, while the new visas are down, the renewal visas are steady, because once you get approved for a visa, you have to continue to apply to make sure you can continue to work and serve that function in the US. So, according to the US Citizenship and Immigration Services, they approved 291,542 for continued H-1B visa employment. And that's only a 1.9% rejection rate. So the reality is, once you're approved for a visa, once you're here in the United States, as long as you do a good job for your employer and you check the right boxes, you're gonna be all right. As long as you play by the rules here in the United States, you're gonna be good. Now, these numbers are really impacting big Indian consulting firms. And I'll give you an example. We recorded an entire video on TCS Consulting Services, Tata Consulting Services. It's the largest IT firm, IT outsourcing firm in India. And they had to fire 20,000 people earlier this year because they don't have it. They're not, listen, if you can't put cheeks in seats, if you can't fill those H-1B visa roles, what do? You got to lay people off. So they laid off 20,000. I'll post a link to that whole video here. I think it's very fascinating what's happening with H-1B visa program. And guys, this is really relevant to American workers because what it does is it opens up, again, more opportunities for guys like us to get jobs. You're not competing. One of the big knocks against the H-1B visa program is it's almost like indentured servitude, because if you come here on an H-1B visa and you don't play by the rules, or you don't come in on weekends, or you don't work 100 hours a week, well, your company can just say, hey, if you're not going to do it, then we're just going to let you go and you have to go back to your country. And that's not good for a lot of these foreign workers. And guys like us, we have to compete against that, because if Rashid from tech is able and willing to work 90, 100-hour weeks, well, what about us? Are we willing to do that also? I think a lot of guys are not, because we want to spend time with our families. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into why the numbers are down, because the Trump administration is doing some things which, I think are going to have a net benefit for the workforce and the labor force when it comes to competition against Indian and foreign H-1B visas. So why are the numbers down? So the first thing, and we covered this in a video a little bit earlier this year, I'll post a link to it here. The Trump administration imposed a $100,000 application fee. So what does that mean? Well, we're not going to be filling in kind of low-level talent with H-1B visa program. But maybe if there's specialty, special AI, special IT, special engineering or STEM talents that we need that we maybe don't have the cutting edge in the US, well, fill out a $100,000 application fee from someone overseas and you can come here. And hold that thought, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Regardless, what you can see with the $100,000 fee is you're not just going to be filing for someone who's going to come in and do some basic software engineering or coding, right? You're going to be looking at the best to bring in someone with a $100,000 fee attached. It also helps with the big complaint from US workers that the H-1B visas are undercutting our wages. Well, if there's a $100 fee attached, $100 signing bonus, $100,000 application fee, well, it's going to kind of mitigate that. Now, the other big news this week was an expanded vetting system in place. The US State Department now requires H-1B applicants and all of their dependents, spouse, kids, etc., to make their social media accounts public. And to me, this is a pretty big change in the way that the H-1B visa program works. Expanded vetting. Frankly, it's one of the things I think that our country has done a pretty poor job of over the past several years, is kind of just saying yes to everyone. You got to have some sort of vetting process in place. And I think that's what we're seeing here. And to go a little bit deeper in this, they're kind of saying, the US State Department saying that anyone that's been involved in censorship of free speech should be considered for a rejection. Now listen, if you're coming to the United States, you gotta believe in free speech. That's like the fundamental principle. The First Amendment there, the right to free speech, Second Amendment, right to bear arms, right? So like, if you're not with the Constitution, if you're not with the way that our country is structured and organized, then I don't know what you're doing here in the first place. We want people that come here with good, strong American values. However, this is kind of a tricky topic here because, when they're looking at, hey, who are the H-1B visas that are attacking free speech or maybe be pro-censorship, they're looking at people that have been involved in fact-checking, content moderation, trust and safety, misinformation/disinformation efforts. And that's a kind of a prickly thing because if we had no content moderation on social media, it would be literally insane. It would be literally insane. More on that in a moment. A State Department spokesperson said, the administration has made it clear that it defends Americans' freedom of expression against foreigners who wish to censor them. We do not support aliens coming to the United States to work as censors, muzzling Americans. I think we can all agree that's a good thing. I mean, the devil is in the details, as the saying goes, but I think that's a good thing. We're Americans. We can say what we want, when we want, where we want. However, you can't be like putting disgusting, terrible, violent stuff on social media. So some content moderation is necessary. And quite frankly, it's not going anywhere. However, here's what I expect is going to happen. Here's the broader theme here, guys. The thing that nobody is really, I guess people are talking about it, but I don't think people fully appreciate the consequences of how AI is going to play a role in our future world. And here's the deal. If you can't hire H-1B visas to do content moderation, if you're having to pay top dollar, lots of benefits to United States citizens for content moderation, these companies are going to end up using AI to do all that. I mean, regardless, they're going to use AI to do content moderation regardless. And, already this is going to create a huge problem in actually getting a good experience. If something gets, I'll give you an example. If an ad gets blocked, or if one of your posts gets taken down, or if you get frozen or suspended, getting an answer from one of these big tech companies is nearly impossible. Heck, I spent an hour on hold with Verizon this morning just trying to figure out why my cell service is down, and I still don't have a solution because I couldn't get anyone on the phone. If I had gotten an AI bot to communicate with, probably would have been a better experience. Anyway, I digress. If it's more expensive to hire content moderators, companies are going to look for ways to lower that cost. And how are they going to do that? With artificial intelligence. No doubt in my mind. If you disagree with that, you can put it in the comments below, but I think that that's pretty reasonable. Listen, the reality is here that I kind of like what the Trump administration is doing. We want to strive for American excellence, guys. I was watching this podcast the other day and saying that everything is crappier now. Home construction, entertainment, cars, everything is crappier now. Planes, everything is crappier now. We need to strive for American excellence, boys. We need to strive for excellence in all that we do. Meritocracy. That is what I'm about. That is what I'm about. So, hey, if we're gonna have a robust H-1B visa application and filtering program to make sure that we're bringing in people that have, that are top talent, that are motivated, that believe in American excellence, get them in here. Get them in here. If you're committed to excellence, come to the United States. That's where you wanna be. And, you know, we also wanna make sure we're bringing in people that share American values. Totally agree with that. I mean, there was this big scandal that was reported last week where in Minnesota, you had a bunch of Somali immigrants who are essentially milking the system, taking out, you know, it's like $1 billion fraud, taking in this cash and then sending it back home. We don't want that. We want people that are here, invest in the United States, they want to build a better world, they want to strive for excellence. At least that's where I'm at. And speaking of excellence, I recorded a video yesterday that I think you'll be really interested in, where I cover by far my favorite AI tool of the year. It's called Fathom. And anyway, it's I think one of the best ways to build out your sales team, to create frequently asked question pages, to train your team, to train your AI. So check out Fathom, guys. If you ever go on Zoom calls, you should be checking out Fathom. It's unbelievable. Really, really good. Check out the video here. Guys, make it a great week. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for liking and subscribing. And I'll see you there, boys. And leave your comments below. All right, see ya. Peace.